First off, congratulations 49ers fans. You will be the talk of the league, but let's be honest, you were always the talk of the league because you're the media darlings. You and the Cowboys. So not much is going to change for you guys. For us, I don't know. Not being ranked number one in the power rankings, I don't know. This one really hurts. Now, you guys won't know this because I haven't made this prediction publicly. I haven't. This is just, me BSing with my friends, co-workers, and family. I was kind of figuring we were going to lose about 31-17. I was thinking, about 31-17. I just see us. I just see them kind of blowing us out. I do. And my reasoning was, this is everything to the 49ers. Not everything. I mean, they know they're a championship team. They want to win the Super Bowl. They know this is just a regular season game. I understand that. But how badly they want this. I mean, they wanted this the moment the clock ticked 0 at the end of the NFC Championship game last year. From then on, they've wanted this. They've wanted it. So you take that, okay? Put it right there. Then the fact that they've had 10 days rest. We haven't. Put that over there. The fact that our defense played 92 snaps last week. Put that over there. The fact that, we've been playing these emotional games. I mean, think back. Washington was a super, super close game that we barely won. And then we went to Dallas. Emotional game. Barely won. Crazy ending. Then we had our Super Bowl rematch against the Kansas City Chiefs. Crazy game. Then last week, you would think would be like not one, but the way it went down in the overtime and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. Emotional, crazy game. So it's been like emotional. Put that over there. So you have all these eggs. The only egg you have over here is that we're home. That's it. Which I don't think, newsflash Philadelphia, I don't think we have a great home field advantage. It's not terrible. There's worse ones, for sure. Way worse ones. But it's not like Arrowhead. It's not like Seattle. It's not one of those really hard places to win in, okay? It's not. Sorry. But still, that's the only egg we had. They have all these eggs. We have this egg. As far as the teams, they're kind of like, so I predicted that they would come out like gangbusters. And we would make it close late. They would come out like gangbusters and would kind of even out late. But because they built up so much early on that it would be too much to overcome. And it was actually almost kind of the opposite. The fact that they had -6 yards. -6 yards in the entire first quarter. And my son, he doesn't really quite understand. He doesn't look ahead. He looks at the right now. What's the score? I kind of look ahead. All right. I've just always been that way. I'm looking at the time, how much time. Like, we still have the ball. We haven't scored yet. And I'm looking about how much time they're going to have and, who gets the ball in the second half and this and that. I'm looking at all that. All right. And it usually doesn't end up how I think it might, but because things happen, interceptions, fumbles, this, that, blah, 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 the third. But I knew when we kicked their ass in the first quarter. The first quarter, we kicked their ass. The Eagles kicked the 49ers' ass. And all it amounted to was 6 points. And I told my son, I'm like, it's crazy. We've been whooping their butts on offense and defense. And all they need is one big play for a touchdown. Just one play erases all that, and they'll have a 1-point lead. I mean, think about that. We get the ball first, which I didn't like. I always like getting the ball first at second half. But we got the ball first, went right down the field, stalled in the red zone, ghosts of early season pass, and we kick a field goal. They get the ball. Not only do they go 3 and out, they actually lose yards. And Brock Purdy gets sacked, and it just looks like, oh, okay. We get the ball back. I'm thinking, okay, get a touchdown here, go up by 10 points, 2 scores. Go up by 2 scores early. Then the pressure's really on them. We go all the way down the field, stall in the red zone, again, kick a field goal, and I'm not feeling good about it. I'm like, I'm feeling better than if they had the lead, obviously, but I'm not feeling great. Like, dude, you need to take advantage of this. They get the ball back. Again, they go 1, 2, 3 and out and actually lose yards again. And between both drives, actually have a negative 6 yards total. And we get the ball back. And I'm like, all right, now, hell, even if you score a field goal again this time, you're up by 2 scores. But let's score something, preferably a touchdown. Go up, hell, maybe even go for 2 and go up by 14. They probably wouldn't do that yet. But you can go up by 13 points here. And we go 3 and out. And I'm like, dude, you're letting them fucking hang around. And then it started. It was the second quarter at that point now, but like, then it started. So yeah, 49ers, we whooped the shit out of you in the first quarter, and then you whooped the shit out of us the next 3. Look, guys, this is going to be controversial. I would rather the Eagles go 3-14 and their only wins of the season be against the Dallas Cowboys both times and the 49ers than to go 14-3 and not win the Super Bowl. Let that sink in. I would rather go 3-14 and whoop the shit out of those 2 teams who I hate more than anything than to go 14-3 and not win the Super Bowl. Guys, I don't care about making the playoffs. We're going to make the playoffs. I don't know if the Lions lost today or what happened, but basically, the Rams. And I say this because the playoff clinching scenario was Eagles win, Rams lose, we clinch a playoff spot. Well, the Rams aren't going to go undefeated the rest of the way. I think we can all agree on that. So really, the Eagles only need to win 1 game. I know we play the Dallas next. Then we play like a middle-of-the-road Seahawks team. And then the other 3 is 3 really bad teams. Giants, Cardinals, Giants. We're going to win a game, okay? So we're going to make the playoffs. We're going to make the playoffs. It's not about making the playoffs. We might even win the division. It's not about winning the division to me. I don't care. It's winning the Super Bowl. Winning the Super Bowl. So I think a couple fans went at me my last video. Not my last video, but I made a video halftime of the Eagles-Bills games. And I was livid. I was livid because that Eagles offense was pathetic. It was predictable and pathetic. And people came at me like I'm not a real fan, like turn in your fan card. Man, if I could turn in my fan card, believe me, I would. I would. I can't be a fan of another team. I can't do it. I don't know how. I can't. I can't root for another team. It's just not within me. So the only other alternative is to just not be a fan of the NFL at all. Just step away. The problem is I can't do that either. And I want to, because everything I watch is on YouTube, on TV, what I listen to in sports radio, it's all NFL, football, Eagles. It's all I do. It's all I talk about at work. It's so much a big part of my life. I know you wouldn't think that because I don't make much content anymore here on YouTube. But it's such a big part of my life that when the Eagles suck or don't do well, there's a huge void. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. I don't like trash talking. I think it's a lot of empty calories. It's pointless. It's stupid. I see people calling us she-goals, which I don't even think is very creative. But 49ers fans will come at you and be like, oh, you're trash. I told you. Blah, blah, blah. I just don't get in. Shut up. Let's put the fan cards on hold for a second and just talk. You know what I mean? I just don't, whatever. There's a big void for that week until the Eagles hopefully make it up. But I hate the 49ers so much, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. You can go out and blow out Dallas right now, and people are going to come at me because this is unheard of. This is a travesty for an Eagles fan to say this, but Right now, I don't even care if we beat Dallas next week. I don't care. I don't care. You just got blown out by a team that I think has the worst and thuggish culture in the NFL. The amount of disrespect and ignorance and unprofessionalism that the 49ers displayed, and maybe that's football. Maybe that's what you want football to be. Look, I agree, all this little hugging and kissing and giving jerseys and this and that, and blah, 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 is a little bit like, you want teams to not like each other. That I get, that I understand. But to call another person trash, like that's someone's fucking, I don't know if James Bradbury's married or has kids or whatever, but that could be someone's dad, or just to call him trash. To say that you to beat us by double digits, to say that, to just whine and cry all through the weeks leading up to our Super Bowl and all off season and everything else, just to cry and moan and boo-hoo and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Like it's just, it's a winning culture because they're in the playoffs a lot recently and this and that, but it's also a thuggish culture. I don't respect the 49ers. They're a good team. They play they play football really well, but I don't respect them as people. And not everybody. Everybody's different. You know, I have nothing necessarily against Brock Purdy or anything. But it's just, I have a problem. Look, it's the real world. It's not fairy tales. The good guys don't always win. They don't always win. This one hurts. This one stings. This one, like, right now, we can't even get this back. I can't even get this feeling off me until until we meet in the NFC playoffs, if we do. We'll make it. They'll make it. It just matters if we meet up or not. And do I think them blowing us out after talking so much shit will help in that game? Yeah. I mean, think about it. Like, you got pride. You know, if you're going up against them in the playoffs and you remember all the shit they talked and then they blew you out for it and all the ignorance and everything else, Deebo Samuel going by the fans and all that shit that hit on the ejections and then just everything they hit on DeAndre Swift and all that. Like, imagine being an Eagle player and you're preparing. I mean, no bulletin board material needed. It's all there. So, do I give them a little bit of a chance because of that now? Yeah. Put it this way, if the roles were reversed, would I, as an Eagle fan, start feeling a little nervous if we meet in the playoffs? Yes. I'd start feeling a little nervous because I've just been watching the NFL so long. I know how storylines go. It almost makes you feel like it's scripted. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it almost makes you feel scripted. When they had -6 yards in the entire first quarter, I could almost see it. Like, watch the 49ers just start exploding. Like, it just, you know what I mean? Like, just the gate was lifted and there they go finally. And sure enough, that's what happened. And it was almost predictable. You could predict it. That's what makes people think it's scripted. Like, dude, come on. I know the theater of sports. I know the entertainment. Like, I know what you guys want. And it's whatever. So, would I be nervous if the shoes were reversed going into the playoffs? Like, whew, okay, they'll really be coming for us. Yes, I would. Does that mean I think we would lose? I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to turn this into a, you better watch out, our 49ers, we're coming. I'm not turning this into that. I'm just saying, yeah, that'd be on my mind. I'd be like, okay, they're going to really want to whoop our ass. And the Philadelphia Eagles will want to whoop their ass. I want to suit up and play, and I would suck. But I'm just saying, like, I want to suit up and whoop their ass. Like, I hate the 49ers more than the Dallas Cowboys. That's saying something. If one of them two had to win the Super Bowl, I'd rather the Cowboys win the Super Bowl. Now I've just been outlawed by Eagles fans. I've just been like, nope, you're a castaway now. You can't be with. I'm sorry. I hate the 49ers, this version of the 49ers, that fucking much. They're thugs. That's my word for them. Thugs. That's all they are. They're thugs. They talk trash. They maybe that's what some of you want as football. I don't. I think you should have an ounce of professionalism. Just an ounce. Just an ounce. You can hate the other team. The two teams can hate each other, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. But there needs to be an ounce of professionalism, and there's none. There's none with the 49ers. At least not all the players, not all. But, like, and the fact that they let Deebo Samuel, the guy doing all the talking, have that great of a game, it's like watching a movie where the bad guy wins. And I know 49ers fans don't feel like they're the bad guys. I understand that, obviously. But come on, one team was talking and talking and talking and talking and all this shit, and the other team wasn't. Which team looked more amped up to you? Be honest. What team looked more amped up to you? The 49ers. Maybe early on it was the Eagles. Defensively, like maybe early on it was the Eagles. But clearly the 49ers won this game more. And I attribute a decent amount of the blowout to that. Not that they're so much more talented than us and blah, 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 and so much better than us. I think a good part of it was they've been wanting this game for a year, pretty much. It would have been nice to see the Eagles match the intensity and win, or at least make it a very close game. Now, with all that said, and I've wasted over 16 minutes on my feelings, there's a fundamental flaw. This team's fundamentally flawed. On defense, we have to understand there's the defensive line that's good, and that's it. We agree that the linebackers, they've been ignored. There's no good linebackers on the Eagles. They're not good. The Eagles have ignored that position. The safeties are not good. Byard, coming over from Tennessee, he's just not what we thought he was going to be. He's not. The Reed Blankenship, what are we doing? We're getting excited for an undrafted free agent who's playing above his undrafted status. That's about it. We're excited for that. That's our claim to fame. Let's talk about these corners. Bradbury and Slay, I'm going to say it right here on YouTube, are nothing but names who are past their prime and are average at best. And I do mean at best. They're probably under average. They're probably below average, honestly. A tick. Not like, they're not bad, but they're like a tick below average or average. They're about right there. They're names. They're nothing but names. People who've had good careers, are past their prime, getting ready to retire. And Bradley Roby, there was a reason why he was on the street as your third corner. So outside that defensive line, which is good, who do you have? Who do you have? Do you have a Greenlaw? Do you have a, who's the other linebacker who gets so much attention on the Niners? I'm drawing a blank. A Hufanga, a War. Like, you don't have any talent. Behind the defensive line, you don't have any talent. You suck. I'm just being honest with you. You suck. Defensively, it's a talent issue. If the defensive line, which is where all the talent is, if they dominate the game, great. You'll look good. If they don't, you look like shit. You get shredded up. Who's one of the worst quarterbacks, if not the worst quarterback in the league? Mac Jones. Do you remember week 1? I do. He kind of sliced us up, didn't he? Watch Danny DeVito slice us up. Watch. And what's funny is the philosophy is just don't let him back behind you. Don't let anything back behind you. Just make him snap after snap after snap, and eventually they'll mess up. Okay, the problem is it's death by 1,000 cuts. And they go boom, 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 right down the field. And the problem with that is the only good part of your defense is your defensive line. They get worn out. So even your philosophy is going against what your team is. It's so talent, or defensively, it's a talent issue. Offensively, it's not a talent issue. You got the talent. The problem is the play calling and the game planning going in, and the fact that your offensive playbook is probably razor thin. Think about it. Think about it. It's wide receiver bubble screen to the right or to the left. It's quarterback draw keeper. It's a shotgun run up the middle for 2 yards in a cloud of dust. Occasionally, it's the go ball. Am I missing anything? And then it's a lot of Jalen Hurts holding, looking, can't find anybody open, can't find anyone open. You got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert when he's healthy, DeAndre Swift. You can't tell me you need 10 seconds to get somebody open. You can't tell me that. That's ridiculous. Jalen Hurts, it's the NFL. You don't have to wait for people to be wide open. Because guess what? Many times, like 8 out of 10 times, they're not going to be wide open. It's the NFL. You got to make big boy throws. And then he also leaves the pocket too quick sometimes when the pocket's fine. And then he rolls out, gives up ground, rolls out, and then 9 out of 10 times it's a throwaway. So defensively, it's a talent issue. Offensively, it's a scheme, play calling, and game planning issue. We are fundamentally flawed. You guys want to get mad at me because I get mad after a bad game or a bad half. The problem is this is a Super Bowl or bust team. I'm looking to win a Super Bowl. If we go to the Super Bowl and lose, it's a failed season, let alone not even getting out of the NFC. And right now, we are not on the caliber of the 49ers. And I'm starting to think we're not even on the caliber of the Dallas Cowboys. When everything is working and the team that we're going against is stupid and allowing us to have our very predictable game plan, we look fine. When they know what's coming, we struggle. We lost against the Jets. I don't know this. I'm not looking at the schedule, but I think, did we play the Commanders next or something? And we barely won. Now, the next week we played Miami, and it was probably our best game of the season. But the week after, I believe, was not the Miami Dolphins, if I'm correct. I think it was the Commanders in between there, and we barely beat a bad team. So even that loss, we didn't correct anything. We had a bye week, which is supposed to be self-scouting. We sure as hell haven't self-scouted anything because we're still the same predictable mess on offense that we've always been. So when I say I want Nick Sirianni and Brad Johnson out of here, and I have 1 foot off of the Jalen Hurts bandwagon, I'm being true. I'm being realistic. I'm looking at the thing and I'm seeing for what it is. So you can hate on me all you want. I don't know what's in I don't know what's in the water at the Novacare complex. I have no idea. But we have stupidity after stupidity after stupidity there. I don't understand it. Andy Reid, he would never run the ball and he always wanted to pass. Although we never had the wide receivers to make the passing game as good. It made no sense. And then we go to Chip Kelly, which, I mean, come on, made no sense. Then we go to Doug Peterson, he won a Super Bowl. Completely understand. But they didn't know how to deal with Carson Wentz. He also had a hard time running the ball a lot. And it was just like this whole, and I think Nick Sirianni and Doug Pearson both, we never knew who was injured, they would never tell us anything. They would straight up lie to the media. It's almost a waste of everybody's time to even have Nick Sirianni get up on the podium. Like, why? Why even do it? I'm appalled. It's not just about losing, because obviously the 49ers wanted it more, and I do think that was a big part of it, but I don't know. I'm going to go play some Call of Duty, make love to my wife, something, get my mind off fucking football. Right now, as it stands, right now, this moment, and it'll probably change by Thursday, but right now, I don't care whether we beat the Dallas Cowboys or not. I'm not going to feel better until we get revenge on the 49ers. I want to beat that fucking ignorant, cocky, thuggish, unprofessional teams. So fucking bad. But who knows? The media has it their way. It'll be Cowboys and 49ers in the NFC Championship game, right? They would love that. Peace out, guys.